And first at 6, Peter Alviti will soon be out. Rhode Island's embattled DOT boss is calling it quits at the end of the month. The news came in a surprise announcement this morning. Good to have you with us tonight. I'm Patrice Wood.
I'm Gene Valicenti. The Washington Bridge mess tops his tenure of more than a decade. That also saw plenty of success, if you're keeping score. NBC 10 political reporter Brian Crandall is live in Providence with a look back at that and a lot more. Brian?
Well, Gene and Patrice, Peter Alviti's office here at the DOT told us today he wasn't around to talk to us about his decision to now retire. But instead of being forced out by the Washington Bridge mess, as some had wanted, Alviti wrote in his resignation letter that it actually made him stay longer. Peter Alviti will hit the road after 11 years as the leader of Rhode Island's DOT, sending his resignation to Governor Dan McKee this morning. The 75-year-old writing he's been thinking about retirement for a while. Did you want Peter Alviti to leave?
So this was a resignation, a retirement from DOT that Peter approached us on.
It's been a rough 2+ years for Alviti with the bridge shut down, but he's been in the job for a long time, since 2015. He led then Governor Gina Raimondo's roadworks plan to fix hundreds of bad bridges, paying in part with truck tolls, which were on, then off, and could be back on again in a year. There's been previous hiccups, like in a public meeting nearly a decade ago.
Well, let me tell you something, pal.
Alviti apologized after getting in the face of a critic then. His time at DOT has been marked by plenty of road and bridge repair projects, but the headliner happened in late 2023, the shutdown of the westbound Washington Bridge. The governor, though, came to his defense from the jump.
Any discussion of changes at DOT, potential resignation of the director?
Yeah, so I'm not going to answer those questions. We're here to talk about an emergency. That's out of line.
Alviti claimed a sudden event must have broken a key bridge part. Turns out there were years of maintenance issues and missed warning signs. But McKee stuck with Alviti. McKee and Alviti have blamed companies the state hired to inspect the bridge, and the state is suing them. Alviti was on the hot seat at a state house hearing just a few months ago, saying he didn't second-guess inspectors.
That they apparently failed to provide you with adequate inspection reports, and there was no ability within RIDOT to assess that?
What is your response to people who thought there should have been more accountability from him and from DOT, and maybe he should have been gone a long time ago?
Well, first of all, we believe that there was a failure in terms of the system that was in place. And we're going to continue to hold the people who gave us the misdiagnosis accountable in the courts.
But DOT, who is overseeing that process, doesn't bear any of that responsibility, you don't think?
No, I've already said that the issue in terms of the way that the inspections were made failed on that bridge. I agree that there needs to be some more level of oversight.
Alviti will get a state pension of just over $20,000. McKee says there will now be a national search for his replacement here at DOT. Live in Providence, Brian Crandall, NBC 10 News.